Greetings, dear ones, beloved, precious souls of the land. I need something like that I can call people, something that I can use as an address when I'm talking to people. Precious ones, dear ones, great ones. What's this? Chris Brown just dropped a cough drop at my feet.
Laying my treasures down.
The greatest treasures of earth are like a Ricola cough drop compared to knowing Christ. I hope you guys are having a great day. Let's see, where are you guys from? Let's get a few cities or even nations. Where are you guys from? States. Hello, Shelly, Felicia, Anthony, Sarai, Mercy, what a beautiful name, Latasha. Hello. Glad to have you guys along. What's up, Sammy? Thank you for joining us. Mac is here.
Hey.
How many of you know Mac Brock?
Matt Brock.
Mac Brock is a producer, songwriter, husband, father, child of God, maker of mischief. And of course, Chris Brown. We are working on songwriting some this week as well as leadership. It's been a good, productive couple of days. A couple times a year. Get away with leaders within the church. And because I am a little bit schizophrenic, I don't mean that term in the technical sense, of course, but somebody told me I shouldn't use that word, actually. They said it was a real mental condition. It was offensive when I used it, so no offense meant. But since I'm a little bit unusual, let's put it that way, in my rhythms, I decided a couple of years ago leading the church to kind of combine creativity and strategy when we get away. So our teams have made it a practice since the beginning of the church to get away. We read in a book about how in any business or organization or enterprise, including a church, that it's important that you not just work in it, but work on it. Yep. Touch 3 people, say, I'm on it.
I'm on it.
Come on.
You didn't touch anybody. Mac did it.
On it.
But you guys can't touch anybody, can you, on Facebook? Maybe you should comment 3 people. Text 3 people. Tell them I'm on it. Hey, if you want to invite anybody to join in, we're going to spend just a few minutes. We won't be here very long. I don't think we'll be here very long. But we're in the middle of a day of trying to write some new worship songs. We'll be recording another Elevation Worship album here in the fall of 2016 at our Code Orange Revival 2.0. 10 nights of revival, celebrating 10 years of ministry.
Can't wait.
Code Orange Revival X, for those of you Roman numeral aficionados. Our 10th year of ministry, Code Orange X. So if you want to invite somebody to join live, that would be cool. In just a moment, we'll start taking some questions. But as we just took a quick break, I thought I would jump on and see if you had anything that you wanted to discuss, either with me, Chris, or Mac. Wait, that's Chris, that's Mac. I get them confused. They all look alike.
Interchangeable.
If you want to ask anything about creative process as it relates to us, we certainly are not experts, but we are practitioners. We're passionate about it. This week, we've been focusing on, with our leadership team, the why behind the what. That's been a helpful discussion. And in songwriting, I think the reason that we write songs and the reason that I involve myself pastorally, probably part of it is just, I love music. I've always loved music. I'm not the greatest singer, certainly not the greatest musician, but it's been a part of my life for a long time. And when I started the church, for those of you who may not know, when I started the church, I was the worship leader. And then these rock stars came along, and
It's been downhill ever since.
it's been uphill. Is that how you say it? If you want to say it's been good, it's been uphill ever since.
Yeah, that works.
But that's
It works.
uphill. You don't want to go uphill.
That's true.
You want to go downhill.
That's the whole analogy is backwards.
This whole analogy is
I've used
flawed.
it all my life.
For decades, we've all been saying it wrong. We want to go downhill, not uphill.
That speed.
That's right. Well, anyway, that notwithstanding, of course, we have the greatest worship team. I think the greatest worship team in the world at Elevation. Such a privilege to do ministry with them every week. And as a pastor, I feel like the words that we put in people's minds and mouths concerning who God is and what faith is are important, whether they're in a sermon or a song. So not every pastor has the passion or desire to work within the worship music, but it's very important to me. So it's all very integrated from our standpoint in our church. We don't look at the sermon and the worship music as being two separate planets, but different expressions that kind of coexist. So that's how we look at it, and even in songwriting, I guess it took me a couple of years, Mac, before I started jumping in this process with you guys. What's your memory of that?
We took a trip, like a writing retreat trip. You were going down to work on your book, I think, and we were just going to write some songs, and you kept hopping in and writing with us, and it was awesome.
Crashing your praise party.
Came out with a lot of good stuff, and I think it's been uphill ever since.
I think it was good for the season, and I believe you did it intentionally for the first 3-4 years that we were writing, to not feel like you were micromanaging and help us kind of figure out our bearings and songwriting for the first time for churches and for our church. And then I think at the right time you felt a call to hop in, and it's really, really helped us a ton. So it's been good.
And we're a team, and it's a lot of fun to do it together.
Yeah.
Mac, why don't you slide in in the middle between me and Chris, and I can get everybody on the same screen. Yeah, sit on his lap.
I'll take a knee.
Right where he belongs.
Are you kneeling?
I'm kneeling.
He's so humble. He is so humble. Kneeling before you guys, the Facebook audience. All right. I wish I knew half the songs you guys sing. Well, we're off to a strong start. Thanks, Dan.
Appreciate you, brother.
God bless you too, man. Wow, we can only go uphill from here. Have you discussed anything about building a building for Concord Church and get us out of J.M. Robinson?
Oh.
Well, once again, we're right on topic. We're kind of talking about worship and creativity for those of you who are late to the broadcast. What is y'all's favorite worship song right now? Taylor wants to know.
Oh, man. Probably one that we're currently doing, that we've been writing this last season, would be Do It Again. It's a new song. We'll record it, like Pastor said, at the revival. That's the plan. Outside of that, I'm going to go with No Longer Slaves is another favorite of mine.
Yeah,
You like
that's a
that
good
one?
Yeah.
How about you, Mac?
Helzer, Jonathan David Helzer.
I know him.
Yeah.
Know of him.
His new song on the New Bethel record is really good too. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Thank you something, but it's a beautiful song. It's awesome.
These guys are big Bethel fans.
We like them.
They're
Go
great
California.
people.
Go Reading.
That's right, West Coast. I also, let's see, I have been listening to a good amount of, let's see, what is that song on the Jesus Culture album, Mac, that you told me about Miracles?
It's called Miracles, yeah.
Miracles.
Great.
I like that song. Do you guys get nervous? If so, what do you do to help? You guys get nervous? I get nervous coming on Facebook Live.
probably get more nervous.
You never know what's going to happen on Facebook Live.
That's true.
It's live. How about you guys? You get nervous?
Yeah, I get nervous pretty much every time I step up to lead. I don't know what I do. Just hand it over to the Lord.
Wow, Chris, you really punted to Jesus there. I missed your name, but you asked a great question. He said, do you write songs specific to the season that you're going through? he mentioned the song "I Can't Believe." You know, it's interesting, and I'll speak from my perspective, and you guys can tell me if you think I'm right. Is that a song can start out in one place and end up in something completely different. For example, there may be something that we experience in church, and we start by going, we want to write about, and then we'll name something very specific.
Right.
Maybe there's a word that I preached on a couple weeks ago called apokaradokia. It's the Greek word apokaradokia. It means to stretch the head forward, and it's translated in English eager expectation or eagerly expect, apokaradokia. So I preached about that word, and yesterday we found ourselves writing a song that I think the church is really going to enjoy, but we didn't put the word apokaradokia in the song, although we may have discussed
we
it.
talked about it.
Or even titling an album,
Right.
apokaradokia. But we decided, that theme emerged and then it became something else. So I think sometimes what the song starts as is not what it looks like. They think about a seed and a tree. They don't look alike, but the substance of the tree is in the seed. So I found that whether in a sermon or a song, that a thought may take you into a place and then you get in that door and you find out, oh, there's this whole other world. That's not where I was planning to go.
Yeah.
But we certainly tried to imagine a context. And for us, we write songs for our church. And that's where we are in our headspace and in our conversations writing the song. So we're able to be very focused, which is different than if we were writing a style of music where we wanted to pitch a song to somebody to sing in another context. We know the faces, the people, the seasons. So what do you guys think about that? I think our setting determines a lot of our approach.
Yeah, I would say the same goes for just songs in general. Sometimes we'll write songs that are very specific to a season. We wrote the song Fullness because we were about to walk into a series Fulfilled, and we wrote that to be kind of the anthem for that. But then we'll also just write songs that I think even like the song that we're working on now, I feel like has a very broad scope of thematically of where kind of it reaches different people at different seasons.
Absolutely. Okay. The last time I shaved my beard, it was trimmed on Saturday. A lot of people, Chris Morgan, come through the songwriting retreats, but we've been trying to keep the rooms smaller lately to encourage maximum participation and limited spectation. Do you ever allow the Lord to change what you were going to sing, or is it stuck to a schedule? In a worship experience, I guess they mean.
I would say we definitely allow change for
Yeah.
what the Lord wants to do.
Yeah.
We got good teams.
Yeah.
They're all prepared.
Yeah, we prepare, we
Exercise some flow.
plan and make sure we're good to go, but then we can change on the fly if we need to.
And you know what's fun for me is that when we're writing songs together, it forces you to expand your biblical vocabulary, because worship songwriting is somewhat of a limited format. You got to think you're first of all trying to write things that are true, not just things that resonate emotionally, but things that are grounded, anchored in biblical truth, but you're trying to express it in a fresh and personal way. So a lot of times our challenge is to say, we would like to write a song about, and then name the big concept, and then to identify a specific scene that people can find themselves in that will carry that concept. So I remember when we were trying to write the song that is now Do It Again, and we wanted the idea of waiting for a change to come in your life, and the idea of the Jericho walls came up, and we decided to open the song with the lyric, walking around these walls, I thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me yet. And so that verse lyric created the context for the chorus that comes in and talks about your promise still stands. Well, we started that song with the idea your promise still stands. It was out of something that I preached that one of our friends heard, and started trying to write a song around that. But in order for that to be meaningful, that the promise still stands, we needed to create a context that people could relate to, which is walking around these walls, I thought by now they'd fall.
Right.
So I think a lot of times songwriting creativity in sermons or even in a book For me, I found it to be about creating tension. Do you guys agree that there has to be a tension for there to be a satisfying resolution?
Totally. Even what you were sharing, we were just talking down at lunch, and how different of a purpose like the verse of a song can serve than the chorus of a bridge. Because a lot of times people, we were talking, a lot of times people don't remember necessarily the verse or the verses of a song. What sticks out to them is they love that chorus, or I love this bridge of this song, but the verse is the setup for, you can put so much substance that may go ultimately unseen that people don't remember.
Right.
But if it's not there, then by the time you reach that chorus, you don't necessarily have a reason or feel the necessary tension to kind of resolve in the chorus, or I want to respond to what I've been thinking or singing during this verse. And so tension is great. I'm still trying to learn how to figure that out.
Like the push and the pull of it.
Yeah.
For sure. I saw a few interesting questions come in, and Matt, you can help me look for questions. Yeah. Someone asked about the song Evidence that is on Here Is in Heaven, which is kind of like a sermon/song that goes into a part of a song, part of the title track, actually. Right. So if you don't know this song, it won't make a lot of sense. But to answer your question, the instrumental section of that song was written, and then I just preached live that night of our live recording. And so what you hear on the album is exactly what I preached over it. And it was pretty cool. Yeah, we never got together, did we? Yeah. It was a special moment.
You just went out on top of it. It was
awesome. So if you listen to it, we were experiencing it for the first time, as everyone else was. And it was a special moment.
Awesome.
If you want to listen to that, it's out. Someone asked about restoring creative flow. I've lost my creative flow. How do I get it back? I can tell you that a lot of times it's about your posture and the state of your energy. When we used to write songs together, there was a lot of this kind of, like we would get in a room and everybody's mumbling to themselves. And there's a part of that process. But sometimes if we're feeling blocked, it's a matter of getting up, and this particularly in songwriting, and walking around the room and kind of, putting ourselves in the state of mind that we're going to be in when we're singing the song in church, and creating that energy, and forcing yourself out of the comfort zone. This morning when we started working on a new song, we had finished one that we really loved from the night before, and Mac, that guy, he had to get a kneeling pillow.
Old knees.
Oh yeah.
He had erased the whiteboard where the lyrics were from the last song, and he said something like, "How did you say it?"
Like, is this intimidating?
Yeah, to start over, to have a blank board, and my response was, "We can't stop there. We can't think there. We got to act now." So I think creatively, when you're stuck, you don't think yourself out of a writer's block. You have to act your way out of it.
Right.
So that means you got to just do something. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Just do the next thing. Just something. It can suck. It can be horrible. It can be worthless. You can throw it away, but do something creative. Move something, sing something, preach something, write something. And that is so important, because instead of trying to, and various authors have written about this, about being willing to have a horrible first draft, but put yourself out there in some way, and then the next wave of creativity will attract itself to action, not intention. That's what I found. So
sometimes I think we were talking last night about even changing your setting. So we've been in a rhythm, as Pastor Stephen kind of started out this, of getting away on these retreats. And so we did spend a season in the church where we'd write kind of week in or week out, or every few weeks in the office. But getting away on these retreats is just our way of saying, this isn't, come to chill time. We know we're going to devote like this 4 or 5 days. We're going to work really, really hard. But it gets us out of our normal routine, out of our normal atmosphere setting. And so I do think that has a lot to do with being able to just be somewhere different for creative juices.
Totally. Man, we're happy to be talking to you guys. We can't get to all the comments, obviously. Mac, do you have wisdom?
I'm just trying to keep up reading the questions.
I know somebody
I
wants
get
to.
about halfway through and then it.
Somebody wanted to see your
disappears.
tattoo.
Oh, got a couple.
Beautiful art on his arm. We have. This is the best comment of the day. Sax and piano. We need this. That's the whole comment from Philip Morgan.
We do need this.
Sax and piano. Thank you for attending from Belgium. That's a blessing that you came to be with us. Very, very cool.
That was kind of a good question. He said, do you always, something like, do you always experiment with the songs in your church services before you produce them and record them? And, you know, we definitely do our songs in church for a long time before we record it. But I would say that we've gotten away from kind of testing out songs on our church, and we try to get them through as many revisions as we can before we introduce them to the church, because we don't want to let our church be kind of the guinea pigs of our songs. We want to make sure that they're in a good place so that every weekend when they're coming to worship, they're not kind of getting kind of like a half-written song or a song that might not be quality, but they're getting, you know, our best offering too.
That's well said. Someone says the other guy is so cute. Someone said the one talking is a hypocrite.
Oh, man.
That could have been about me. That could have been about you. Yeah, she's saying me. I am a hypocrite.
Wow.
Always a blessing.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. Do you write the music before the lyrics or the lyrics before the music?
I'd say,
Kinda.
yeah, it kind of comes.
A lot of
Ebbs and
times the
flows.
music, the mood, the vibe can affect a lyric coming, can affect what needs to be sung. I would say more often than not, Pastor, you're probably one of the best at just shouting out a melody to getting the juices flowing or getting the mood right. You'll shout out a melody with a lyric, and that'll kind of set us off in the right direction. Comes together a lot at the same time, simultaneously.
Yeah, and I think creativity in its essence is risk. To put something out there in a songwriting format when you're with other people and to know this is not it, but this is something. This is always easier for something small to turn into something big, or to find something within a melody that's not a great melody than to wait for something perfect to fall down out of the sky. And a lot of times, man, you don't start because you don't know exactly what you want it to be. But if you don't start with what it is, you can't carve away. And so you start with a melody, and then you find the most interesting part, throw everything else away. Then take that part of the melody, and then get the most interesting part, and then throw everything else away. And you do that over and over again, lyrically, melodically, structurally, until you have something. In our minds, the ultimate goal is that hands will be lifted at Elevation Church, that hearts would be engaged in the presence of God, that people would be able to have a soundtrack to that season of their life that was an organic expression from our church, from our ministry, from the place that they call their spiritual home. So it's a pretty big deal for us that every word counts, every syllable counts, every note counts. And so we've never claimed that we're the greatest songwriters, but we're very passionate about our church having the best songs to sing that express what God is doing in our house in that season.
Right.
But hey, we love you guys. It's been a pleasure to spend a few minutes with you. For those of you who call our church your home, we've got some great music coming out of this retreat. This songwriting, it can't really be called a retreat. It's a work session.
It's very true.
It's a work session. Okay, but we're having a good time, and the Lord is giving us some good ideas for songs, and also some great leadership. I think some great leadership direction. Some of our other team is here as well. So I just wanted to check in with you, and let you know that we were thinking about you today, and praying for you to be creative. In fact, I'll just close by just declaring over your life today that whatever it is creatively that God has given you to do, that you're going to do it, that you're going to take action, that you're not going to sit around and judge it before you do it. You're just going to do it. Right. And don't be too worried about what others think about it yet. What God has put in your heart, He put it there for a reason.
Yeah.
And even if it's just a word of encouragement or a song or something that God has given you to do, there's different types of creativity. But I think the process is so important, and that we embrace the messy parts of it as well. And there's a lot more we could say about this, but
Yeah.
that's enough for today. We got to get back to work. Hope you guys
Yeah.
enjoyed hanging out. We love you.